What's up, everyone? Welcome to the November 25th edition of the NBA Injury Report, brought to you by BetMGM. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. We have a huge 12-game slate with a ton of injury news to get to today. But first, click the link in the description below, sign up and make a deposit at BetMGM, place a $10 wager on any pregame World Cup money line, and receive $200 in free bets if any team scores a goal. It doesn't even have to be a team in the game that you bet on. Any team playing in the World Cup puts the ball in the net, you get $200 in free bets. That's free money. Click the link in the description below to take advantage. Now, we have a lot of injury news to get to today, a lot of questionable players that can impact this slate. Starting with the Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero is back, but Wendell Carter Jr. is questionable and Chuma Okeke is questionable. If Carter is out and Okeke is in, it's likely that Mo Bamba starts in place of Carter, but the minutes are a little bit dicey because Okeke will probably be in the rotation as well. If Okeke and Carter are both out, it's very likely that Mo Bamba is starting and playing substantial minutes. He's gotten relatively expensive because of Carter's recent absences, so you do need to feel pretty good about his minutes. It's not that very easy plug and play anymore if he starts, but if both these guys are out, I expect the biggest impact to be on Mo Bamba. For the New York Knicks, Cam Reddish, Derrick Rose, Mitchell Robinson are all questionable. We've seen Quentin Grimes start in place of Reddish. He's playing big minutes. If he starts, he's very inexpensive, so he's going to look like a good value. Derrick Rose has a marginal impact on Jalen Brunson. They split 48 minutes at the point guard position, typically 32 or 33 for Brunson, 15 or 16 for Rose. Last game, we saw Miles McBride move into the rotation. Brunson played about 34 minutes. If Rose is out, you can give an extra minute or two to Brunson, but nothing that is too huge. And then Mitchell Robinson, questionable. If he's out, we can just go right back to the absolutely awful center rotation between Isaiah Hartenstein and Jericho Sims, where no matter what you pick, you're going to be wrong. But there is opportunities for one of them to come through if Robinson is out. For the Portland Trailblazers, Drew Eubanks is questionable. Not a huge deal, but he is the backup to Yusuf Nurkic. If he is out, it is likely that Nurkic plays a couple minutes more than he otherwise would have. For the Houston Rockets, Bruno Fernando is questionable. This actually matters today because Alperen Şengün is doubtful. If Fernando is out, you can feel a lot better about the playing time for Usman Garuba, for Tari Eason. We also got Eric Gordon ruled out, so there are a lot of wing minutes available that are going to make it easier to say Garuba and Eason and maybe some Jabari Smith are getting minutes at the 5 if Fernando is out. If Fernando is in, it becomes a lot messier. Don't know exactly how many minutes he would be able to play. He's been out for a while with a knee injury, so I expect that he would be limited, but it would make any front court options just a little bit more risky than if Fernando is out. For the Indiana Pacers, Andrew Nembhard and Isaiah Jackson are both questionable. If Jackson is out, we can project a couple more minutes for Miles Turner because his primary backup is out. If Nembhard is out, we probably get Aaron Naismith in the starting lineup, but we do potentially get a little bit more playing time for Benedict Mathurin. For the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James is questionable. It came out a couple of days ago that he expects to play today, but he is still on the injury report as questionable. If he misses this game, Anthony Davis looks a lot better. Davis has averaged over 1.7 fantasy points per minute without LeBron. The rest of the pieces on the Lakers would look better as well, but Davis would be the really big beneficiary. For the Memphis Grizzlies, Steven Adams is questionable, as is John Conchar. This team could sneakily end up being really shorthanded tonight because Santi Aldama is also doubtful. Desmond Bane, of course, is still out. So if Adams misses, it's likely that you get Brandon Clark in the starting lineup and looking like a good option. Xavier Tillman would likely enter the rotation as the backup center as well. Maybe you get some center minutes from Jaren Jackson Jr. Also, John Conchar's absence would likely mean more minutes where Tyus Jones and John Morant are playing alongside each other. Jones is relatively expensive across the industry, though, so I don't think that would make a huge difference. It would also potentially open the door for one of David Roddy or Jake LaRavia to play enough minutes where if they get extremely hot from the field, they look like good value options, but they still wouldn't look like priorities. For Miami, Dwayne Dedmon, Tyler Hero, Max Strus, and Gabe Vincent are all questionable. Same thing we've been seeing for Miami. A lot of this is just a matter of if all of these guys were to be ruled out, Miami is extremely shorthanded and anybody active would look good. But individually, if Dedmon is out, you can add a couple minutes to the projection for Bam Adebayo. If Hero is out, you can add more production to Bam Adebayo and Kyle Lowry in particular. If Strus is out, you're probably getting more playing time for whatever wings are available, namely Caleb Martin, but Gabe Vincent if he's in. Similarly, if Vincent is out, there's more minutes in the backcourt available. So it's just a situation where none of these guys, with the exception of Hero, make a massive impact because Hero's the only one that's a high usage guy of the group. But if you just start removing bodies from Miami, they become shorthanded very quickly. So it's important to keep an eye on. On the other side of that game for Washington, Rui Hachimura, Bradley Beal, Monty Morris, all questionable. They missed the last game on Wednesday. In that game, we saw Jordan Goodwin start in place of Morris. He played about 25 minutes, didn't play at all in the fourth quarter as Will Barton closed over him. Bradley Beal, you saw, was also out. Corey Kispert started, and then Rui wasn't in either, so you just got additional playing time for guys. If Rui is out, it helps solidify minutes for guys like Kyle Kuzma. If Beal is out, in addition to opening the door for more minutes for Corey Kispert, you also get increased production for Kristaps Porzingis and for Kyle Kuzma, more minutes available for some combination of Will Barton and Goodwin as well. And Monte Morris, if he's out, I expect Goodwin to start again. You could see more Will Barton. If Goodwin plays well, he could play those closing minutes over Barton, though. We've seen that happen as well. For Detroit, another team that has the potential to be extremely shorthanded tonight because Cade Cunningham is already out. We have Amadou Diallo, Killian Hayes, and Jaden Ivey all questionable. They could be really short on ball handlers here, which means that there would be a lot of opportunities and also a really good chance that this team just absolutely is awful against the Phoenix Suns. But if these guys are out, look for Alec Burks to take on as much work as he possibly can. Corey Joseph would likely move back into the rotation. Bojan Bogdanovic would see an uptick in usage, though he doesn't really create for himself. So he still needs somebody to be running point and getting him the ball, which is why I think Detroit really could just run into some huge issues here if they are this shorthanded. But there is the potential for a lot of opportunity if these guys are out. Jaden Ivey in particular, obviously a very high usage guy, especially without Cade Cunningham on the floor. So even if you were to just take him out, you're looking at increased opportunities for guys like Alec Burks that can come in and try and carry some of the scoring load for the Pistons. And for the Denver Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. is questionable. I expect that you would get Bruce Brown in the starting lineup and playing more minutes. When everyone is active, Porter's around a 21% usage guy. He does some rebounding. There's not one area where I would expect anybody to really benefit, but it is a slight uptick for the people that he would normally share the floor with. So to recap, the injury news that we are waiting on right now, Wendell Carter Jr. and Chuma Okeke are questionable for Orlando. Cam Reddish, Derrick Rose, Mitchell Robinson, questionable for the Knicks. Drew Eubanks is questionable for Portland. Bruno Fernando, questionable for Houston. Andrew Nembhard and Isaiah Jackson are questionable for the Pacers. LeBron James is questionable for the Lakers. Steven Adams and John Conchar are questionable for Memphis. Dwayne Dedmon, Tyler Hero, Max Strus, and Gabe Vincent, all questionable for the Heat. Rui Hachimura, Bradley Beal, and Monty Morris are all questionable for the Wizards. Amadou Diallo, Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, all questionable for the Pistons. And Michael Porter Jr. is questionable for the Denver Nuggets.